hit that like and subscribe button before you forget.
Was a conglomerate of companies, 1925 this says, and Bayer and BASF are under this company. So to your understanding, what role do they play in this Germany that we know of back then?
Well, it's an origin point for them. One, they came out of the Nazi regime. No, thank you. Because America, the U.S., rescued thousands of Nazi high-ranking, again, science, officers, military, political, people of state, people of stature, through and after World War II, and brought them to America, gave them new names, new identities. Some super huge millions of dollars of our Social Security was given to them to fund this Reformation program for Nazis at the time, and they grew into things we know now as our modern pharmaceutical entity. And I'm sure you can look at the insurance, you're making a connection with the insurance we were talking about earlier, how it's just all tied together, and I've pointed out that it's basically what it is, it's racketeering, it's organized crime. And yeah, you have all these fingers and these factors that come together to make this one fist that's got us all strangled under that particular hold. But how the German influx or influence, whatever word that would serve at the moment, is represented in our modern pharmaceutical industry is that they were founders, and even before both wars, turn of the century, 1900s, coming out of the 1800s, some of these guys were already pharmaceutically involved, just as business people in their age in Germany, in their country. But like with everything, generationally they grew. I mean, Walt Disney, I hope Walt Disney doesn't represent what we know of Disney today, but 60, 70 years of Disney, and it's progressed to what it is. Again, the same 100 years, 120 years, 80 years of German pharmaceuticals is graduated through generation and graduation to what we deal with now today. And you can see it like with the whole COVID thing and just these rapid fire solutions of vaccinate. Well, that's exactly what Nazis did. They human tested and experimented all kinds of medical or certainly chemical stuff and mechanical and amputations and body augmentations and all that kind of freaking weird people, man. Weird freaking people. With what they were doing. Not necessarily the Gestapo, but some under group of them. Because every one of the great one, the Luftwaffe, the Gestapo, whoever the propaganda arm was, all the hierarchies, they all had under departments just doing all kinds of crazy shit. And keep in mind, Hitler was, and many of them were super interested in the supernatural and witchcraft and bringing that to bear in common warfare and stuff. And that goes all the way back to like the book of Enoch in the Bible. It's one that we don't have in our regular Bible, but it talks about all the Nephilim and the fallen angels and their activity here on earth at the time before Noah. It's some wild crap. And they were just eating that up, spoon and scupper, and looking to try to bring that about in their human war effort to take over the world. Well, they didn't quit thinking that when the war was over. They just quit having bombs and bullets to enforce that on anybody. And we subsidized and paid for them to keep being alive and to keep thinking that, to grow into what they've grown to be today. And we see it represented in our pharmaceutical company. The morning after pill, the AIDS pill, abortions, medical procedures to mutilate children. It's a lot of their ugly faces starting to spread open and get uncovered here in these last just couple of years that we've been going through stuff with the whole epidemic, the whole fruit ball rainbow movement, and that absolute psychotic confusion. We've been dealing with it with abortions, the perfect way to murder somebody for 60 years almost in common mainstream life in America, and federally subsidizing it for like 30 some odd years. But that's medical companies, they're the ones that pay for the scalpels and the machines and the pumps to perform that action.
Right.
But yeah, a huge portion of our pharmaceutical industry is born out of post-World War II Nazi German influx.
It's interesting. 20% of Germany's GDP was pharmaceuticals or chemical companies.
That's a chunk.
That's a chunk, right?
Yeah.
And being IG Farben, which was dissolved and then broken up. It kind of antitrust monopoly type of thing happened during World War II. They busted it up, and all these subsidiaries became their own little thing. I guess maybe as a
You kick the nest, and all the roaches crawl out and start their own.
And BASF, IG Farben specifically, right, was responsible for the pesticide Zyklon B. That's what was used in the gas chambers.
Yeah, did you know that the chemical cocktail for cancer patients?
Chemotherapy?
Yeah, it's like 2 compounds off of mustard gas.
Huh.
Yeah, it's against the law to use mustard gas to commit war, when the idea is to go kill as many as you possibly can for the better outcome of having killed somebody. And that's against the law of Geneva Convention. But just, I don't know, take some salt out and
Sure.
put a little sugar in or something like that, and boom, chemotherapy, treat it for health service.
I haven't
Yeah.
been able to find anything as far as Pfizer goes that links anything. But again, I mean, we're talking a history of Pfizer from the 1800s, right? And that they were here. I mean, it's considered a Brooklyn, New York company, I believe and they have a long history. I mean, they may have wiped not to say they couldn't have paid to wipe their history.
Called Hillary, and
But they buy up. Their latest acquisition was a company called Arena Pharmaceuticals, a clinical stage company developing innovative potential therapies for treatment of several immunoinflammatory diseases. I don't know what that means, other than it's
well,
something in its
immune,
test
so
stages, right?
that's genocode. That's
Something that is
Is that by design?
is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company focused on discovering, developing, and commercializing novel antiviral therapeutics for RSV. Now, this goes to something we talked about earlier. My stepdad just had the 3 shots: the flu shot, the COVID shot, and RSV shot, all at the same time, and made him. Seems like it made him pretty sick, and now he's got renal failure. I can't.
I'm with you 100%, man.
I can't make. Nobody can prove the connection, right? But you got to. RSV has normally been known as something that here of most recent, from what I understand.
what does RSV stand for? What are the words?
It's respiratory syncytial virus. I'm not good at pronouncing these things, meaning.
Just for our viewing audience.
Yeah, respiratory syncytial virus. So to me, it's, from what I understand, it's something that's been predominant in younger kids, babies almost, and now it's a problem with older people. And now they got to have a virus, or now they have to have this vaccine. And now they're shoving 3 vaccines in older people. Flu,
Little sus.
COVID, RSV now.
Kind of
What is
sus.
RSV again? I know you said it
It's
before.
respiratory syncytial virus, common respiratory virus that usually causes mild cold-like symptoms.
I've never heard of it.
I hadn't
Is
either.
that new?
But it's
Well,
new to
it's
me.
been in-
But
it's something that you have to be concerned as a parent in a younger child. And it says most people recover in a week or two. And
so it's
they're-
cold.
And they're forcing another vaccine
Yeah.
into our older generation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tomorrow they'll have hangnail vaccines. And, blink a lot on Tuesday vaccines.
How does someone get RSV? You or your child can become infected if someone with RSV coughs or sneezes near you.
Breathing. It's that
Through
damn
direct
breathing,
con-
man.
Such as shaking hands.
Just stop
Cut
it.
that out.
Just stop it.
Exactly.
So it says the virus also passes to someone in direct contact, such as shaking hands. But if you're scaring people,
6 feet.
if you're scaring people coming in contact with each other, why you gotta have the fucking vaccine?
You need to come with us, sir.
And so,
You've asked too many questions.
but anyway, I tell
There's a helicopter coming in.
yeah, and I hate to say it.
Pause for detention.
Pause for detention. But why they're even using football players to push this stuff on you.
Well, because they drop like flies so easily.
So the most popular football player in the world now is. Come on,
You said football and you lost me.
come
so.
on, yeah, Travis Kelce.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Oh,
He's
right. With
dating-
Tay-Tay?
So he's a Pfizer rep now.
No
Ah.
way.
Well,
Yeah, he's got a
ever
commercial out
since
that
he
says
met
get-
that girl.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, her, yeah.
And it's
yeah.
just-
Getting all sorts of. Just all over the game. this year.
It's probably just pure happenstance. I'm sure this has been in the works, but after their coming out party at
Go
the
ahead and
whatever
swing
fo-
that hammer while that iron's
and-
hot.
Yep.
Yep.
It's essentially as soon as they came out at the football game, he's on a Pfizer commercial saying you can get the flu and the COVID vaccine all at the same time. Just get them once, and now they're pushing a third one on
So
them.
they went after him right when that happened to use him as an.
I think it was probably in the works, but again, strike while the iron's
Makes you
hot.
wonder, though.
Yeah. And
Because they can make that shit happen in 24 hours with the right money and agents.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What was it? Like Dave
Call
Chappelle.
him, get him here tomorrow. Here's the money. He arrives.
A couple of contemporary comedians have kind of given an expose on like the whole Dave Chappelle because Dave he was a meteor, he was just rising fame, had his own show,
Oh, yeah.
blah 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 blah,
awesome. I love him.
and in a blink, I mean a literal blink, bam, he
He's
died.
on his own volition, though.
Well, his actions, his determination to
To my understanding. What do I know?
his
Sound like a
determination to stand on his actions caused the reaction of him being just terminated as far as a media
Oh, right,
light
right.
was. That he was making, had an HBO deal or whatever the deal was, and it made, I don't know, $50 million or whatever it was. At the time for that, a single venture, it was a very sizable paycheck, enormously unheard of before, unprecedented amount. And so they came to him and said, look, because it's so much, we're only going to be able to pay you smaller amount. And he was, the fuck what? And it's like, well, you null and voided the previous contract because you hyper exceeded the expected amount of profit. And so the contract doesn't cover that. And so with those grounds, we're rewriting it with a new negotiation of your percentage being so much smaller. And he was like, well, what if I just go ahead and tell the fans this when I get home? And they told him and said, before you get home, you're going to be a ghost. And sure enough, he's like in LA and he's flying home. So it's not an hour on the Beltway and pulls into the driveway. It's a day later. And in that 24-hour period, he gets home and his wife is just like, oh my God, what they're saying about you, blah, blah. And then whatever little scandalous thing there was that, brought about his fame demise had already been cut, dried, produced, and published and out there before he even got home. because he wouldn't play the game.
Reminds me of the movie with Sandra Bullock, The Net.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, if you watch it, it would be hysterical because it's so old.
Yeah.
With the technology, but it was just kind of reminded me of that how everything was.
That buttons there are buttons and there are people that push buttons.
All we are really is nowadays with our whatever you want to call assets and even liabilities. All they are is a pixel on a computer screen.
Ones and zeros,
They really
baby.
don't have anything.
Yeah,
No.
Matrix is applicable to this
Oh, yeah.
situation, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of.
I mean, I don't know that you can bend and move like Neo. Or
Oh, I
anything,
can.
Yeah.
But again, go back to those spider webs in the wood, dude.
That's why. Yeah.
I'll say this though, I don't know if, I feel like we kind of touched on this a minute ago, or when I met you guys. By the way, it was a week ago. It was 2 weeks from this past Wednesday. So last Monday. It was a
when we
week
talked.
when we met. Anyway, because I was like, no, it wasn't last Monday. It was Wednesday. It was anyway.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Hey, so but here's what I want to mention was conspiracy theorists. That's a word introduced by the government that they use to make you look cuckoo.
Yeah.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, if you want to call it that, but what it really means is I just don't believe everything I hear, or like I like to look outside the box. But I really, I don't know, maybe you guys are trying to go down that route, so I don't want to pull and tug on the run through of your
please,
show. But
pull,
I'm just throwing it out there that this all starts to is in the same water.
Yeah. And we live in an environment of instantaneous, like get ahead of the curve, get ahead of this wave, wag the dog.
Right, the tail that wags the dog.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Get on the spin before it can actually get out. What?
We have talked about critical theory, right? That is something that has been tsunamiing, for lack of a better term, through education, one.
Oh.
And two, now through social media and the news media, and really in anything that we're talking, even into the war in Israel. So, the Palestinians jump in and with their hang gliders and ceiling fans whatever the hell they're doing.
Ceiling fans and MP5s.
And the country is somewhat just benign to it. Oh, it's just blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just, they're just doing their thing over there. Well, and then there's an explosion in a hospital a few days later, and there's an uproar. There's pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses everywhere.
In high schools.
In high schools.
Here.
In downtowns.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Jackasses just rampaging through the hallway. Blah, 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 Palestine, blah, 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 blah.
I can't believe that Israelis would do this to poor Palestinian children and people in hospitals. They're such evil people. Now there's an uproar. Okay, well, one, is it because it's a retaliation?
Absolutely.
No,
Well, it wasn't.
hold on. It gets better.
No, they didn't have anything
There was no
to
missile.
do with it. But they really didn't know at that point in time, other than it had nothing to do with the Israelis, that more than likely it was a malfunction
And equipment in the building.
equipment in the building, or something that the Palestinians were testing inside their own hospital, and it blew up.
Keep in mind, the entire civilian populace and edifice of Gaza is camouflage for the Hamas military complex that is tunnelized and underground of the entire area. Hospital, that's just covering their armory. Children's schools, that's just, covering their whatever. So on. Civilian housing and stuff like that, well, 20, 30 feet underneath the ground is, military barracks and weapons, munitions making and stuff like that. They gut entire municipal water systems, talking about, they don't have water and stuff, and it's got to be brought in. It's because the water systems that were put in were gutted and turned into armament. They're using sewer pipes for missile casings, and etc. et al. Ad nauseum. The whole thing is a charade.
Yeah, he's getting a little, but anyway, yeah.
No, they are.
critical.
They gutted out the sewer system, the water systems, and used the pipes for missile bodies. So they fired 5,000 missiles in an hour the first day or whatever it was. Well, like several hundred of them only just about got there. Other ones are like just falling right over the fence or something else because they made it out of fucking sewer pipe or whatever, not ballistic grade, made for the purpose of traveling through space and blowing up in somebody's ass 1,000 miles away material. They made it out of get piles of shit down to the dump material.
Or our $6 billion that we gave them.
There's that. But
a week ago, but we had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, or all the stuff we left them in Iraq or Iran, wherever we left all of our stuff when we.
Critical theory is an extrapolation from Marxism, and this thing goes postmodernism is what they call it, and it's a crazy rationale of what is actual, right? So in an oversimplification standpoint, superiority versus inferiority, right? And it's an inferiority complex essentially that anything that is rational and obvious is debated by something that is completely irrational, right?
Ludicrous.
It's just oversimplification, of course. I mean, it goes deeper than that. But back to the point where everybody was kind of silent initially when Israel got attacked, and then the hospital blows up. Israel is just
now the knee-jerk reaction is to
and everybody
do that.
And everybody protests. And now CNN and MSNBC and whatever the other outlets are now are all over it. And look what they did. Well, look what's happening. I can't believe they retaliated. And this, not to mention that the Hamas or whoever's responsible has just killed 1,500, 2,000 people.
Yeah, don't mention that part.
That's ancillary to this argument that Israel retaliated in a non-humane, warlike fashion. But it was totally untrue.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
matter. That could have been a meteor out of the sky. It wouldn't matter.
Reaction.
The public knee-jerk reaction has now been trained. Oh, the Israelis. It's the art or science of propaganda and disinformation. A very, very practiced field in all government defense. For us, the CIA and no such agency.
And to tie into your conspiracy theory, now anything that is considered rational is considered wrong.
It's irrational.
You're the one that's irrational if you think could be a social norm that's accurate.
You vast right-wing conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, and then they blame it on something like white privilege, or they blame it on
MAGA nuts.
You're an idiot because you believe you voted for Trump. You're a MAGA. You believe in small government? Well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, it's just.
When has small government ever helped anybody?
You know why I won't wear a MAGA hat? And I'm not going to say I didn't vote for him. I'm going to say this, though, is because immediately I'm going to be looked at as somebody that's, and I know that people they don't care. That's fine. I'm not really one of those. I still want to go with
choose your battles.
Yeah, and it's all it's going to do is cause a problem more than people would agree. And wearing that hat also can make you look like you're racist, which is garbage.
And then
people will make it look like you're racist.
And then us, we're thinking, how's it going to affect our business, right?
Oh man, that's a whole other onion to peel. You're not wrong.
Right?
That's a huge.
But
that's why I don't ever do politics on my social, my personal opinion.
Right.
There are clients
right.
there.
I don't forward anything. I don't. I can vote whoever I want for, and I'll do my civil duty all day long. But I'm not really going to talk to you about it. I mean, we're having a conversation. I think we're having a real conversation about what's going on. We're not really having.
And I'd like to say right now that none of us have anything on Hillary, nor would any of us commit suicide ever. Right? Okay. Just and like and subscribe.
Yeah, like it's subscribe.
Low battery
Hey, I
again.
got to put a 40-minute warning out for myself.
40.
40 minutes, just FYI.
Yeah. No, I think we're.
Because okay,
but,
'cause I thought we were already over.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't. Because I got Buddy's got a
Do shit.
school event. So anyway, just wanted.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Beans with the weenies,
So,
man.
but that's been something that's been creeping up over time. And then there's another theory that kind of compounds into that. It's called the nudge theory, and this has been something that's been around since nudge
nudge it.
theory. Woodrow Wilson. Let's say so. World War I, essentially, right?
One of our greatest socialists.
Yeah.
He created marijuana.
He
Created the word marijuana. It didn't exist before Woodrow Wilson's administration.
okay.
Yep.
Learn something
Yep. It
new
was
every
just
day.
hemp.
All right.
God's cabbage.
Yeah.
And so there's a nudge theory where you do little things over time, right? Instead of big grandiose type events.
Generational.
Which wouldn't, using that theory, one that surprises me is Obamacare, right? That was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They just shoved it onto us, and she said it.
But we already had a national medical industry and insurance industry before that. He just like swooped it all into that bag.
In that bag.
Yeah.
And she said it. She said, you got to pass it to see what's in it.
Yeah.
Right? So, and she was just, here you go. But over time, they've created Department of Education.
Yeah. National
Right.
whatever educational system for independent school systems.
They used a crisis in the Great Depression to create Social Security,
Yep. And
Right.
the Great Experiment and
Great Experiment, and so on and so forth.
chicken in every
And the
pot.
nudge theory is do these little things over time, and mainly in crisis, and then before you know it, you get what you want.
Yeah. And
Essentially.
never let a good crisis go to waste.
That too. And you just slowly push them. Use the Department of Education into believing little different things at a time, and change the population from
it's a
the
drip.
bottom up.
It's a
And
drip.
It's
Yeah.
a drip effect.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's what Woodrow Wilson was like,
IV.
1917 or something like
One
that.
drop at a time.
One drop at a time, and then you know you're.
I never heard that.
The straw on the camel's
Exactly what's
back.
And
There's
it's-
no end of
And
adage.
it's happened. So, and that's 1917, give or take. I
Yeah,
guess
14, something like that.
somewhere in there. So,
Teen.
110 years later, almost now, we've got a completely different dynamic in this country where everything was kind of a free for all. Great Depression happens. Well, can't be quite a free for all anymore. Then things are good. Then wars happen.
And what would
They're not
be-
quite so
Does
free
this
for all.
tie in with history repeats itself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. History always ties in with history repeats itself because you always have the ignorant masses, be whoever they are, that didn't learn history either by willful.
Yeah, the Great Depression was 100 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what actually caused
That's,
the black community of this country to switch from Republican Party supporters as a body, because before the Depression, blacks supported the Republican Party.
Wasn't the Republican Party more democratic then?
No,
And the
no,
Democratic
that's
Party
another
was more
fallacy put
Republican?
out there.
Is that not
No,
true? Okay.
yeah, no. Republican Party created itself as that word identifying whatever they called themselves before that. It was a different name, but they were always them. They're the ones that, abolished slavery. They're the ones that created the 14th and whatever 10th and the other 10th amendments that gave all the civil rights to all the people, which naturally was designed at the time in response to the black population, but it was to all the people. They were just the most popularly and at the forefront of a national consciousness to receive the benefits at that time. But it was the Great Depression, which, by the way, was caused. Stocks in a monetary system didn't just accidentally collapse by itself. It was grown. It was nudged to that condition, to that windfall to all the ones that benefited from it, the Bilderbergers and all of them.
And here we are, $32 trillion in debt.
Yeah, today. versus whatever other trillions another day.
No, now we're at 40.
Yeah,
Who
it's,
knows?
you know, it's just
Who knows?
X's
It's
and O's.
I think it's 39 or 40. Either way, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not even fathomable.
No, it just
Really isn't.
it makes no sense to try to.
$1 billion is barely fathomable, much less trillion, and then 40 of them.
How many grains of sand in a beach?
Right.
Yeah. Then how many beaches exist?
As of September
about it.
18, it reports 33 trillion.
Okay. Well,
And then the 6 billion goes here, and now we want another 90 billion to go to Israel, and they want to renew 100 billion
it's
to
so
go to
funny,
Ukraine
too,
and
on
this and that and the
soil,
other.
we
And
have so many issues, and we can't. I don't get it. And the IRS will go and like fuck somebody's life up for $5,000 or something. You know, like
yeah,
it's just I don't know. It's not even comical. It's kind of pathetic, actually.
Oh, there's lots of pathetic
it's
to
just
it.
very, it's very confusing. I don't understand.
yeah. There's so many
It's
things.
literally
that
gross.
you can't even.
Gentlemen, I'm falling in love. Is she walking down the altar? Is she walking down? Am I at the altar?
Yeah,
She's gorgeous. Oh, she took it off. She ran a runaway bride.
she saw us. She
Wait,
saw us. Nope, not going
she
there.
heard me.
It's like, Daddy, are you supposed to
Well,
walk me
we
down
can
the
edit
aisle?
this out, right?
Have easels set up out there. They got something going
It
on.
must be a cornhole tournament.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks like it.
I did see some boards. Yeah,
play
yeah, they got
cornhole?
boards. This guy right here,
Dude.
dude.
My neighbor
Oh,
was
man.
number 17 on ESPN. His name was Joey Tatum. Now, when I say neighbor, he lives in the neighborhood.
Joey Tatum. Don't know
It was
that
like
name.
10, 15 years ago.
Oh,
Oh,
Whenever the neighborhood does cornhole tournaments, his team always
he's the
wins.
guy.
I like that game for like 10 minutes.
yeah.
And then I sizzle out.
We play it pretty regularly. We have our own little cornhole league up and coming that we're moving to Freedom Mill. Actually, November 8th, I think, is our first day there now.
Lanier, what?
Near Cornhole Club.
Lanier Cornhole Club, LCC.
There's a few of them around now. North Georgia Cornhole Association is the bigger one right now. Corey and Kristen put that one on, and they do regionals, and everybody gets points for ACL, and there's several pros around here.
Are you pretty good at it?
I'm okay. I hold my
I'm
own.
not very good at it.
Now the guy that we worked roadie for last year, DJ, he's good.
It's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's got enough ADD in him that he can stay. It's something that keeps him focused, you know, and so he gets in it pretty good.
You know, speaking about we're talking about chemo and how it's 2 clicks away from
Mustard gas.
mustard gas, and I was going to tap in on Monsanto's if you guys know that, and the GMOs and all that. That's a whole different. But did you know that Adderall and cocaine? If you look at the
Yeah, they're just.
chemical makeup of Adderall and coke, dude, there's one little stem difference. Adderall's legal coke, man.
Yeah,
You said ADD.
you don't use gasoline for Adderall.
It right.
Yeah.
Like, that's you see how coke's made.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, now you bring it up. So methamphetamines were created by Germans.
Germans. Yeah.
To
Yeah. Hitler, man. He was huffing and puffing hard.
We have those though.
Yes. Well, I did in the
Oh, no,
80s.
not methamphetamine.
I
sorry.
thanked everybody.
I was thinking of the drugs that like take care of like the infections and things. But I just got crossed. Wrong word. Methamphetamines.
well, like
It'll take care of some stuff.
antibiotics.
I don't ever remember being
is-
sick back in those days.
well, methamphetamines. We're talking Breaking Bad here. You know,
Oh yeah, I was
Breaking-
pretty
we've had
bad,
amphetamines
man.
and the bad
I was,
drugs, but they use those to keep their soldiers going.
Oh yeah, and all you. Well, I mean, you always had your your berserkers in warrior class.
To find out how to make all that is what blows my mind.
We used to have books you could just like go and buy off the bookshelf,
For
but
somebody to figure out that process and like how
yeah,
to make bourbon.
yeah, you're recovering that. See, I'm the guy who figured out
How
milk.
to make that stuff.
Who-
Well, that guy was just a weirdo. Wanted to play
It's
this
all
guy.
trial and error.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
Well, see, yeah.
It was pretty good.
I mean, we'd already had the information of like human milk. What do you got to do to get human milk? Who took that information and looked at a cow? We got to get you off the farm, pal. Bye-bye. You're going to the city.
It's all trial and error. Somebody's got to blow themselves up.
Somebody's got to.
Somebody's got to blow themselves up.
Ahmed,
You gotta,
leave a note.
well, eventually somebody's got to walk.
Don't
away
open the
from
bag,
it.
honey.
Let me tell you something.
Don't open the bag.
Yeah, don't.
And then finally, like,
Yeah.
you're like, all right, guys, we get to step 22. Who's willing to try step 22?
Yeah.
Boom. leave
And
the
then
notes.
somebody,
Yeah.
and somebody finally lives.
Yeah.
Right? And gets credited for it. You know. So I mean, I guess Franklin, got electrocuted, right?
Have a key on his kite.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Franklin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Did he get
Is that,
electrocuted?
is that true?
Well,
I never-
he
You
did.
think a guy put a key on a kite? And
He did do a he did a kite experiment, and it was in relation to dealing with lightning. You know, apparently going from the ground to the sky, harnessing. The idea was how to harness energy.
What year was this?
17,
Were there
whatever.
even door locks? 'Cause
Oh,
you
yeah,
put a
we-
key on a kite.
You've had locks since you've had doors.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty hand in hand.
Fair.
Yeah,
Hey, all pun
yeah,
intended.
yeah, exactly. Hand in hand. You knob. But he was. It's not what we've been presented in the cartoon book.
1752.
1752. I knew it was 17 something. Wars and rumors of wars, whores and warm beer.
Some
Scurvy.
question if it really took place.
Printing press was still pretty new. Stuff.
To a hemp string.
Huh? Yeah.
To a hemp string at that point in time, not marijuana.
Just not marijuana because we hadn't created marijuana yet. Hadn't been invented yet.
Always been here.
Nothing new under the sun. We just call it different stuff. But yeah, Ben was doing something, and there were kites, and it was lightning.
Like, Ben,
But
so
it-
Benny was out back
Yeah, just
saying,
he was just chilling.
talking about the other day. Oh, Franklin.
That was almost 300 years ago.
Yeah,
That's wild.
That's insane.
and look what we've done with that gift.
Yeah, I know it.
Electrotherapy.
Electrotherapy,
Well,
electricity in
shit right
general.
there. Is that because of Ben Franklin, those towers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it.
Yep, those are Franklin towers right there. Harnessing the energy from the sky. Nikola Tesla. You know, he apparently just, I'm no into the stuff that he accomplished, but it all got quashed and still, what is it whenever the government hides stuff? Classified. Still classified. Almost his entire body of experimentation and stuff, his entire 40, 50 years that he was doing shit and stuff like that is still a body of classified documents, not allowed to be explored. So all you have is internet supposition and malarkey and stuff to go on. And
Tesla stuff?
yeah. He,
Not Elon Musk Tesla, the actual Nikola.
Nikola Tesla. Yeah.
What years was he?
Same as Edison. So early 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
But he was just like ridiculously brilliant.
Yeah. He's just one of those like really smart psychopaths. Ended up dying, alone,
Probably.
like Howard Hughes and other ones. Apparently, there were several people creating light bulbs at the same time. Edison won, the same way Hillary wins. He just talked to Ford and he talked to Bilderberger or whoever, and they quashed everybody else. Said, "You're our boy, Tommy. Come on, let's do it." And got the phone shit going and stuff like that. That was all Uber lobbying and backroom cigars and whiskey and whatnot. Nikola apparently he had funding from somebody. He was coming. It was fixing to happen. But then a meeting happened, and the guy said, "Yo, Nikola, sorry, yo, got my butt over here," and he took him to court, brought documents and stuff like that, and it just all quash, boom to the street. All kinds of stuff there. Yeah, wagging the dog is not a new thing at all.
I think there's a book call The Tail That Wags the Dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't there? Yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
read it.
Haven't read it either.
Love the
I'm
title.
aware of it. Yeah. Dude, you see the movie Wag the Dog with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. And they're like,
It's about all that, the whole,
yeah, modern, CNN, modern media production at the time. This was made like in the 90s, I guess, or something like that. Late 80s, early mid 90s. And it was pretty much about the Clinton presidency and how, they just turned it all to make him smell like roses, no matter who was sucking in what room or whatever and stuff. And then you had the John Travolta movie, Color, where he played Clinton, or he played a Clinton-esque president. He didn't play Clinton himself, but it was obviously Clinton, all the way down to his mom having a skunk run in her hair, coming out of Arkansas and stuff. What the fuck was that movie called? Color was in the title. I just don't remember what it was. But yeah, both those movies came out somewhere around the Clinton era of the time, but
I'm
I've
waiting for the
digressed.
day for media to be held accountable for their shenanigans.
We war not against flesh, but against principalities of the air.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, this is something that's been going on.
Wouldn't it be sick?
We have watched ballet magic of semis in super tight parking spots when we were at the Biltmore and we're waiting on our drives. So it's a bunch of monkeys and ties standing out in the parking lot, worried about his mirror, waiting for the pedestrians.
I don't know that.
Just barely caught that curb.
I don't know if any of that's ever going to change as long as politics are involved, and politics are always going to be involved. And the
He's a shorter
bashing
one.
and the misinformation has been going on
It's forever.
forever, right?
As long as there's ever been somebody that did not want to get caught, you've got propaganda and disinformation. Little kid wiping the crumbs off his mouth. I didn't touch the cookie jar. Not
And
me.
how do you hold somebody accountable against something that has more money than you, that has more bandwidth than you? I mean, for example, let's say Tucker Carlson, right? He's pretty outspoken and he says some outlandish shit, but he was predominantly on a conservative network over the past.
What happened to him?
Well, now he's on his own
Yeah, I know.
network, and he's doing just fine.
Yeah.
He's doing rather excellently.
He said something that did not mesh with whatever regime Fox News moved in, and
Well, he kind of called them out on something.
yep,
Yeah.
and
Good for him.
And refused to play along with
I like
something
that.
they were presenting.
And-
Yeah.
and they pushed
That's
him
the way it
out.
should be,
And they pushed him out.
That's the same way with Joe Rogan. That was kind of like more like with the Dave Chappelle. Hey, we want to fuck you directly for money in regards to our deal with you. And Joe's like, no, and left. What was this? Spotify? He was
he
with.
did? Dude,
Yeah,
he left them?
yeah, because he's
He
got.
was with Spotify. He's a huge 20
Yeah,
million a year.
yeah. Well, now he's like 100 million a year with whatever it was that he did and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Plus he's got just hundreds of strings of income and investment and
Yeah,
stuff
he's,
like that.
His Rolodex is deep.
He's really close to untouchable. As close as you're going to get at being an individual. But whoever that was that he was with, they wanted to screw him, and he was like, "No, I don't think so. I'm just going to screw my wife if that's okay with everybody," and walked out. And then took a little break and did some family vacationing and found himself in Austin. And the family said, "Wow, we love it out here. All right, back up the truck. We're moving to Austin." And boom. The rest, as they say. Now he talks to weirdly interesting people and sells nootropics and has a whiskey label or something. I don't know if he actually has a whiskey label.
He probably does.
It would be
That's the thing on these
weird if he did not. He drinks a lot of it. Yeah. He does have his own nootropics, Annnnd, O-N-I-T, Annnnd, nootropics. They got a whole line, Alpha Brain and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he's somebody that did good. Tucker Carlson, much similar. Dave Chappelle's doing rather, I mean, for a comedian at this stage to have gone through the gauntlet that he went through and made it to the other side. Yeah, for years, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was, I mean, you know, it's single number. But he would just go out. He'd fly to a city and just start doing free stand-up concert on the curb, on a corner, alley. It's like, hit Dave Chappelle, laugh your ass off, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha, bitch. You know, yeah, he is. And he could.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had enough cushion to where he could afford to just fund himself and go do that. But then he built a new branch of following, and those people were like, you know, going to the comedy clubs. The fuck, man, we want to sit in some chairs when we're listening to Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to make sure you stay in business. Here, let me introduce you to Dave. And so he's made his way back in.
And now he's selling out arenas again. And
all over again, like it never happened. But he doesn't have contracts with the players or the makers that he grew up with, coming through the movies and stuff like that, as he did. Yeah. There's some people that buck the system and they punch through.
Yeah, a lot of people don't survive that well, man.
No, most do not. Like Candace Owens, the black conservative girl.
Yeah. Get a helmet. I don't know what to tell you.
Fucking awesome, man. That was just awesome.
Yeah.
She goes to universities and stuff and speaks, and of course, you know, all these university speakers, her, Michael Knowles, Brett Cooper, what's the Jewish guy that looks like Brett Cooper's brother? Can't remember him. Anyway, you know, they go out and they go on these speaking tours and stuff like that. Well, she's pregnant, and she's kind of headed up to here with you fucking people. And some idiot got up there, started jib-jabbering at her and stuff like that. Well, what do you have to say if blah, blah, whatever, my vulva's feeling, blah, 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 blah. Get a fucking helmet and get over it. I'm too pregnant for this shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Or something, maybe not quite absolutely verbatim, but get the helmet.
Right.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
Get a helmet. So that rampaged around the net for a little bit. Yeah, but they're all doing pretty good.
Was this a political?
Oh, very political.
Yeah,
very,
that's all
very
she
political. She's all about the whole.
Ben Shapiro's who you're looking for.
That's
I
who
think,
I was
right?
looking for.
Oh yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Mr. Speak Fast, Smart, Brilliant.
Oh, he is hyper brilliant. He'll tell you everything you. We're not live. We're recording though. Yeah, come on in.
Come on. You know where I can vote for Kirkley Hennessy for next president? Is that somewhere around here?
This is his representative.
That's it?
Just slip him a little piece of paper in his pocket there.
Here's
With-
mine.
You look so much better on your Facebook profile.
Thank you. It's a
Not true. Kirkley Hennessy. Dave passed this.
I was going to say, wait a minute,
It's been
man.
17 years.
Yeah,
I
it's been
think.
a long time.
No, wait, hold on. I take that back.
That's
It's been
awesome.
26 years. I can't do
Yeah,
that.
we went to middle high school together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Look at your face.
Wow.
The hair's new,
The hair,
but the face is there.
Yeah, but
How you been, bro?
Grin is still here. I
That's
know.
funny.
Just one of my favorite spots.
Weight
man.
gain and hair loss for me.
You what?
Weight gain and hair loss.
Good success.
For men,
It's good.
yeah. He's not just a member.
This is their pot. Did you see the post I put?
I saw the post,
This
which
is
is,
their
you know,
brewed and amused.
brewed and amused.
Yeah.
And
He's
I
brewed.
You're brewed and amused. Okay. I've been playing with some names, Dave and Confused and whatnot. And I started my own
That's a
little
good
one up in Lake Arrowhead called Music Mountains and Moonshine.
Nice.
I got shit for followers, but it's okay because I'm relatively new to the scene, and I'm just interviewing different people in the community. There's like 2,000 homes out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And, some of the people have been there 30, 40 years. And so it's like the Appalachia foothills meets suburbia, on the outskirts. And so it's like all the, amenities of the mountains, but we've got this 20 minutes away. And I thought, there's so many good stories up there with folks. And so I'm just interviewing one interesting person, kind of
Come change places for a minute and get on the screen a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, make sure I've got fresh tape happening.
Hey, we're